Hey there, welcome guys. Tony Porter, and it's Tabletop Baseball Digest. Here we are with the deep drive defensive chart. It's going to include the errors and the range. Range is on the left and the errors are on the right. Let's go over that so you know how to use it. Let us find it, and we found it. All right, great. So on the left side, you got 0 to 41. On the right side, you have 42 to 99. And within those two columns, you're going to have 5 subcolumns. And those subcolumns represent, this is by the way, that's the 1961 chart. It's one of the seasons that I'm playing. I'm playing a kind of, I'm playing a replay for Willie Mays, 61 Giants. So anyway, and I also want to learn 61 season a little bit better. I know a little bit about the American League, not that much about the National League, so I'm involved in doing that right now. Okay, so anyway, your better fielder is a 5. Your worst fielder is a 1. Of course, you can always be a 0 if you have a tired pitcher, I believe, off the top of my head. And it's a -1 for the fielders. But anyway, that doesn't happen very often, and I think I forget to use that. But anyway, okay, so within the larger column, on the left is going to be your range. On the right is going to be your errors. So within the larger columns, you're going to have 5 subcolumns, or actually 6 subcolumns that represent the defensive player's ability. Just like I explained, 5 on the left is the best, and 1 on the right is the worst. You can be even worse than that when you have a tired pitcher, I believe. That's a negative. Okay, so let's just say you roll your 2. So the result on the card would say defense, and your initial roll will fall within that range on the player card. So then you re-roll the 2d10 and you get a number. Let's just say I roll a 12. Well, that goes to the second baseman. You see that each of these series of columns has a row that tells you a title, and that tells you what fielder it is. The pitcher, then you have first base, second base, third base, shortstop, left field, center field, right field. You don't have any range checks with the catcher. You could potentially, but you really don't. Now, on the error side, you will have a pitcher, catcher, first baseman, second baseman, third baseman, shortstop, left field, center field, and right field. So let's just say I roll that 12 and my second baseman is a 4. Well, he makes the play, G4. G4 usually represents a fielder's choice. So it's an average speed or an average in terms of you have a hard hit ball, a slow hit ball, and an average hit ball, I guess. So that 4G would on that 12 represents a medium hit ball, so it's usually a fielder's choice. Now, if it's hit hard, that's a double play ball, and if it's slowly, that is going to be a ball that the throw goes to first base. Now, the numbers within that, so their roll numbers, their rows of roll numbers. There's 1, 2, this is just the second baseman, right? Let's use that second baseman as an example. So if you roll 8 or 9, it's the top. If you roll 10 or 11, it's a little bit lower. If it's a 12, a little bit lower. And then, of course, the last row in this section would be 13 to 14. And even if it's a 4, so even if it's a 4 defender, which is a pretty good defender, you're going to get a G4H, a G4, and then ultimately a single. So the higher the roll, the more opportunity there is for a hit here. A ball gets by the second baseman. Now, if your second baseman's a 5, you get a G4, 2 hard hit balls that are 2 potential double plays, and then another G4, another fielder's choice. So he never lets a single get by him, which is kind of cool. All right, so now let's say, let's go over to, so that's how the range checks work. Let's say you have a second baseman who's a 1. Well, you're doomed because not only does he give up singles, but he gives up single pluses, which means that batters advance 2 bases. So poor teams will have more ones generally, and of course, there will be more runs scored against them, and so on and so forth. So this is very well designed. And let's go over to the errors. So now, once you hit 42, the errors begin. Now, from 42 to 53, you have an automatic error. On 42, it's an automatic error on first base. 43 to 44, it's automatic 1 base error on second base. 45 to 48, the third baseman. And 49 to 52 is the 1 base error on the shortstop. And then 53 is a 1 base error on the center fielder. Okay, so let's go and let's just say I rolled. So basically I roll my dice, I look at my card at the result, whether it's on the batter or the pitcher. The result is a defensive check. So now I re-roll the 2d10, I go to this chart, and I roll a 68. That falls within my first baseman check. Okay, so I'm going to check my first baseman now, 68 to 69. A 5, a 4, or a 3 first baseman is going to get a 68 or 69 ball. It's going to be an average ground ball, average speed. Now, a 2 first baseman is going to bobble it for an error. A 1 first baseman is going to bobble it for an error. A 0 first baseman is going to bobble it for a 2 base error. Okay, let's say I roll an 80 now. Well, that's going to go, you scroll down a little bit, and that 80 is the third baseman. So let's say I have a 3 third baseman. Well, he will make that play. But if I roll an 81, it's a 1 base error on the third baseman. If I roll an 82 to an 83, it's also a 1 base error on the third baseman. Even if I have a 4 third baseman, well, that's a pretty darn good third baseman. An 82 or an 83 will give me a 1 base error. Now, on a 1 third baseman, it will be a 2 base error. Okay, so that's basically the way it plays. It's pretty straightforward. And all you need is 1 extra roll, and it'll tell you, depending on the fielder's ability, whether it's going to be a hit in the range section or an error in the error section. And again, like I said, it all depends on the fielder's ability. 5 is the best, 1 is the worst, could be 0 if you have a tired pitcher. And that's about it. Remember to like and subscribe. Any questions you have about Deep Drive Baseball, I've been playing it for a few years. Again, I'm not an expert, 100% expert on anything, to be honest with you. But, I can usually figure it out, or I can tell you how I play it and how I understand it. So anyway, this is Tony Porter, Tabletop Baseball Digest. Like I said, remember to like and subscribe for more tutorials, and I will see you guys very soon. Take care.